This is Alice in Muggleland, with your hosts, Bilius McDaniels of the No-Maj Liaison Office, and Alice, the Muggle that got lost following the White Rabbit.
Hey Alice.
What?
Some of my colleagues have questions they think that only a Muggle or a No-Maj could answer.
Am I the only No-Maj you know?
You're the only No-Maj that's ever been in this building. That I
Cool.
know of, anyway. One of the departments wants to know if you by any chance know where we could go through and stash a mating pair of Thunderbirds.
Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit, okay.
Are those jelly beans from Chapter 6?
Yes, they are.
Because you had me reading about Halloween, and now I'm really craving some
Be careful
candy.
about those. So, they weren't lying when they mean every flavor.
Well, like every flavor you'd want to eat, right?
No, every flavor. You remember that Fred thought he had a bogey flavored one?
Bogey?
Booger?
Oh. Some people eat boogers.
And later on you will find out about more horrendous flavors, but that's in like a much, much later chapter in this book. So.
Now the green ones are good.
So this chapter is, as you said, Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you mentioned last week, it's your favorite holiday.
It is.
All right. So it starts off with the day after the attempt of the midnight duel, when...
Yeah, actually, this chapter covers a lot of time. So they finally give us a description of how Quidditch is played, and then suddenly it's 2 months later.
Well,
kind of surprising.
Well, not really 2 months later, because they start September 1st, and then it's Halloween. So it's really like a month and a half.
Okay, this light blue one tastes like soap.
Like I said, they really mean every flavor.
That is weird. Okay.
So the chapter starts off where Harry is talking to Ron about what Fluffy could be guarding. Harry updates Ron about the package that Harry saw Hagrid get that the three-headed dog could be guarding.
Yeah, I mean, it's strongly suggestive that whatever Hagrid took out of Gringotts is the package is being guarded by the three-headed dog. But we get a little bit more of a description here. They talk about it being about 2 inches long. And they do talk about how this is either really valuable or really dangerous or both. But other than that, we don't have the slightest idea what this could be. And they move off of that topic fairly quickly because Harry, as he continues to be an exceptional person at Hogwarts and in life, gets the exception to actually have a broomstick, even though he's only a first-year student. And not just any broomstick, but a very fancy, schmancy, top-of-the-line broomstick. The Thunderbird of broomsticks, if you will.
Yep, a Nimbus 2000.
And they describe it a little more descriptive than they have. They talk about it being mahogany with gold lettering. I assume that the type of wood makes a difference. Yeah, so he gets his broomstick, and of course this drives Malfoy absolutely bonkers, as well it should, especially when Harry decides to give him credit for him getting to have one.
Yeah, and Hermione doesn't like this at all.
Ugh. Oh God, this one's really gross. I wish I'd looked more closely at that one before I stuck it in my mouth.
Boom.
Yeah, anyway, moving on. So he gets the broomstick and he gets to start practicing Quidditch with I believe this is a new character.
Oliver Wood
Mr.
was
Wood.
In the last chapter where McGonagall introduced Harry to.
Oh yes, he's a relatively new character. Harry's getting to practice, and finally, Mr. Wood gives us the actual instructions on how Quidditch is played. He describes the different positions, so I'm going to see if I have this right from memory.
Okay.
7 players on a Quidditch team on each side.
That's
3
correct.
of them are called chasers, and they are trying to get the quaffles. Am I saying that right? The quaffles through the hoops, similar to basketball. But apparently this bit of scoring is really, really minor by comparison to what the Seeker does. That's a 4th position. He's trying to grab the snitch. Is that right? Snitch?
The golden snitch.
The golden snitch. It actually has to be a golden snitch. It's not just any snitch.
Yeah, it's a golden snitch.
Okay. And so he's going to, if he gets that, the team gets 150 points. So whoever grabs the snitch almost always wins. But in addition to...
And the game is also over when the Seeker grabs a snitch.
Right. So we have 3 chasers who can score points. And then you have the Seeker who can score points in a big way. And then you have some kind of called blockers. And they're trying to protect everybody from some really dangerous sounding balls called bludgers. I'm sorry, not blockers. They're called beaters.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to probably keep calling them blockers because beaters just sounds weird. But anyway, the beaters keep the bludgers away from the chasers and the Seeker. And last but not least, you have the Keeper, who presumably his job is mostly defense, to keep the chasers from the other team from scoring. Did I get that? Is that 7?
Yes, you did.
All right, rock on.
Except for the minor issue with the beaters, you got everything right.
Yeah, the blockers. And apparently the beaters play something kind of like baseball with these bludgers. I mean, they just whack them and, to try to redirect them very violently. So presumably the beaters would also be really good at roller derby. So that's kind of how I picture them. Except instead of on skates, they're in the air. So all of this is taking place in the air in a very large stadium with very steep seating, as described in this chapter. So we go through this first lesson, and Harry is, of course, a natural at this, as we've already seen demonstrated in the previous chapter. And then 2 months fly by, pun intended. And suddenly, it's Halloween.
You know what I find... Let's go back to the Quidditch part really quick. You know what I kind of find funny? And this is only because I studied No-Match studies. Oliver Wood didn't know anything about basketball, but he knew where to get golf balls.
Oh, that's really a good point. I didn't even think about that. I just kind of assumed that was a UK thing. Basketball might not be as popular over there as it is here. But golf, having been invented in Scotland, would definitely be well known. Anyway.
Continue.
If you studied No-Match studies, how do you not have any No-Match friends?
That will be a special episode. Because that actually has absolutely nothing to do with the books.
Do you have any friends?
I have many wizard and witch friends.
I was just checking. A little worried about you in here all the time. Okay, moving on.
Well, I'm not in here all the time. You just see me in here all the time.
I've never seen you anywhere but in here. I think you spend a lot of time here.
I like my work.
Is that because you don't have any friends?
Again, I have friends. Just like Harry does. Let's move on.
Okay. I'm taking the hint. Sorry. I was trying to make a connection here that it clearly is not. You are nothing like Hermione, the friendless. So Hermione, 2 months flies by. Hermione is not speaking to them because she's so angry that they got rewarded for breaking the rules. I don't know why this bothers her so much, but it does. So she is not speaking to Ron or Harry. And yet she takes it very, very personally when she overhears Ron bad-mouthing her. So that's kind of a weird thing, because really, who cares what Ron thinks? It's Halloween. One of the ways that they celebrate is they get to learn how to levitate things. But they were starting with feathers, which I'm pretty sure float on their own. So I'm not sure how special that is. But that's what they were trying to make levitate.
It's not that feathers are light, yes, and if you drop a feather, it does go through and fall lightly, but a feather, if it's on the ground, it doesn't just magically fly up on its own.
No, but you could lay on the ground and blow it up into the air. I really don't think this is that special. The cherry ones are really good.
The difference is with learning how to cast this spell is a feather is light, and it allows you to learn how to build up strength, so to speak, with the spell from starting with a lighter object before moving on to heavier objects.
So could you levitate these jelly beans for me? Like, could you levitate
Yes.
one out of the container into my mouth?
Yes.
We have to try that later. Moving on. So they're making things float. Actually, they're not making things float for the most part. Hermione's making things float because she rocks at all this stuff. And Harry and his partner are setting their feather on fire, which makes me think wands are kind of dangerous. And then Ron says something mean about Hermione, how she's just the absolute worst. And she runs off crying, literally, and disappears for the rest of the day. I mean, frankly, if I could make something float and somebody, said I was the worst, I would just make them float, in perpetuity. But
I'm wondering in regards to Hermione, though, maybe in reality, Ron did strike a chord in that regard. I mean, if she's basically been going on for about 2 months, from September 1st to October 31st, she's the way that she is. Wouldn't you get, well, I don't know about you, but wouldn't you get lonely if, like, you had no one that you could connect with for 2 months?
well, Bill, I think I'd like to ask you that question. And do you get lonely since you have no one to connect with?
Again,
Ooh, this one's
I
a
have friends.
marshmallow. Delicious.
So Hermione runs off in a huff, and the rest of the students go to the Halloween feast.
Right. And they don't even bother to tell us what the food is, which really bothers me because it's Halloween. They should be eating all kinds of amazing sweets and treats, and they don't even tell us. Instead, immediately, right when I'm getting ready for a description of this scrumptious, Halloween feast in a literal castle. I mean, this should be the Halloween to end all Halloweens. And instead, somebody comes rushing in to tell Dumbledore that there is a troll in the building. That's never good. So
that is not good.
Yeah, and these are not like the trolls that I am used to. I am used to trolls who live under bridges and have 3 questions for travelers. Oh God, that was a banana one. Yuck. Okay, when we finally get to meet the troll, he is subverbal. He doesn't say anything. He just grunts, and he smells really bad, and he's 12 feet tall, and he's just really gross. Suddenly, this jolts. I skipped an important part. So Harry and Ron find out that Hermione's been crying in the girls' bathroom all day, which is kind of pathetic. But that's what she's doing. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's because she has spent 2 very long months on her own, separated from the closest approximation to friends that she had. So while this 2 months flew by for Harry, maybe it felt like a really long time for Hermione. Maybe I should cut her a break on the crying in the girls' room. It just seems kind of like a cliche. And she's not a character who seems given to those. So they decide when they find out there's a troll, they realize that she doesn't know there's a troll. And so they are going to go to the women's restroom to rescue her, or at least get her out of the restroom and up to the dormitory with them. I don't know how in the process they ran into Snape, who didn't see them, but they saw Snape. And somehow this distracted them from their mission, distracted them enough that they ended up actually locking the troll into the women's restroom with Hermione. So that was an epic fail. When they realized what they'd done, they went back for her, which is good. It's kind of the least they could do at that point. And the troll has her pinned against a wall. And now, again, she's just having a kind of a cliche heroine day. She's been crying in the bathroom all day. This giant, ugly troll bursts in, and now she's frozen with fright. I feel like this should be some sort of there should be an analogy here to, giving into crying all day, and then it just makes things worse. I'm not going to read that far into it. Ron and Harry come bursting in on the scene, and kind of plays out in a farcical fashion with them distracting the troll and banging it on the head and shoulders with pieces of metal that they're apparently able to just rip off of the fixtures there in the bathroom. So the plumbing in Hogwarts is very, very shoddy.
I think really what happened, in the description, I believe the troll was actually like destroying things in the bathroom.
Oh, okay. And they're picking up the rubble.
Yes.
That makes more sense. So they are pelting this troll. Finally, Harry jumps on its back and wraps his hands around its neck, or his arms around its neck. Somehow in the process shoves his wand up the troll's nose, which is just mean. The troll thinks so too. Finally, Ron levitates something other than a feather that you would not be able to just blow up into the air, the club of the troll. So this is a good time for Ron to actually get his magic to work. Again, Hermione, totally helpless this whole time. The one person who in the room that we definitely knew could levitate, something like a troll, or at least his club, hasn't done anything. But Ron bashes the troll on the head with his own club, which is a particularly humiliating thing, for a troll, I would imagine. That is how this situation is resolved. The troll is knocked out cold. Now all the grown-ups show up. Hermione claims she had gone off on for the troll herself because she'd been reading all about them. I assume that she says this not just to get Harry and Ron off the hook, but to also cover for the fact that she was absent from all of her classes that afternoon. That would be some explanation for her absence, but...
They just found out about the troll at the feast.
Well, they did, but maybe Hermione knew about it earlier. I'm just saying that this whole troll business is going to probably overshadow the fact that she missed a bunch of classes that afternoon so she could cry in the bathroom. Just saying.
So
I have no idea what this flavor is, but it's very good.
So
right, troll. Knocked out cold.
Troll.
Hermione claims she went after the troll by herself. Claims Harry and Ron came in after her after she realized she'd made a huge mistake. Then they saved her. They rescued her. All very thrilling. Hermione gets docked 5 points from Gryffindor for going after the troll by herself. Harry and Ron are each awarded 5 points to Gryffindor for knocking out the troll. This is a net gain of 5 points for Gryffindor for those of you keeping score at home. And that is how this is resolved. But it is important to note that the trauma of dealing with this subverbal and very stinky troll has reunited the three amigos. They are back together again. And personally, I can attest that there are some situations that you go through with someone and it makes you the closest of friends. Like, fighting a 12-foot troll or, living in the state of Mississippi.
I always wonder about the docking of Hermione's points. I understand why Hermione did what she did, but at the same time, Ron and Harry could have just said, "Look, we knew that Hermione went to the restroom," and then the troll was told about. So he went to the restroom just to say, "Hey, Hermione, there's a troll. We need to go."
This may just be the point of the book at which Hermione realized that, bending the rules at Hogwarts is a way to get ahead. And so she's now embracing this particular strategy. We shall see as the books continue. I suspect she will be a little less goody two-shoes from here on out, but maybe I'm wrong.
So, Alice, now that everything else has been said, who is currently your favorite character in the book?
I really want to say Hermione, but this whole crying in the bathroom thing is a drag. Let me think about it for a second. I'm going to eat this brown and black speckled bean. That was a mistake.
Earwax?
Mud pie. Okay. I don't know why you let me do that. All right.
Hey, I warned you, okay?
You did. So it's really hard to say who my favorite character is right now. I think I'm going to go with McGonagall. She continues to be sort of clever. I liked her divvying up of the points for Gryffindor so that it was a net gain, even though they had gone after this troll when they weren't supposed to, but she recognized that this showed bravery, which is totally on brand for the Gryffindor camp. So we're going to go McGonagall.
All right, so and we're still
I'm going to eat another bean to get that mud taste out of my mouth. What do you think? Dark blue? That seems good. This is another one I don't know what it is, but it's delicious.
Well, I just remember the last time you had a blue one, it tasted like soap, so that would have been just hilarious if it turned out to be another one like that.
No, that was light blue. I'm avoiding the light blue ones now. And the white ones are very hit and miss because some of them taste like marshmallows and some of them definitely don't.
See, you should have had another light blue. It might not have been like soap. It could have been, I don't know, blueberry.
It could have been, but it probably would have been soap again. And believe me, I am well acquainted with the taste of soap.
Is there anything else going on with this chapter that you'd like to bring up?
No, but I would like to bring up, what the heck is this flavor? It was yellow with white spots, but it tastes like lemon pledge. Wow, that's weird. It's kind of good, but kind of not. Yeah, and I think we covered the whole chapter very thoroughly. So we have the rules of Quidditch finally, so I am no longer in the dark about that. We have trolls. They are not just for under bridges anymore, and they don't quiz, the passersby on, kind of random trivia. So that makes them a lot less appealing. Malfoy is still a jerk and was very envious of the new broomstick. I was kind of expecting him to do something to the broomstick, but there's still time. He might try that later. Harry is still the special golden child, even though the only thing he has demonstrated so far is a real proficiency for riding broomsticks, which that's clearly very useful and valuable in this universe. So,
well, if you think about, I'm gonna give Harry a little bit of credit here. He was the one that basically made the decision to go get Hermione.
He did do that. We'll give him
full.
Except he immediately forgot when they went in for the feast. And then he forgot again. So basically twice he decided that they should go, handle the Hermione situation. And twice he forgot. His short-term memory issues.
And he did go through and did jump on the troll's back, too. So.
Okay, this one tastes like dirt. Maybe dirt and asparagus? Ugh, that's not good.
But you know what is good? Next week, we're going to dive more into Quidditch, as Chapter 11 is actually titled Quidditch.
Fantastic. I like how we started off with a book about wizarding, and somehow I've been drawn into sports. That's just wonderful.
And you want to know something? Just like a Quidditch team, we need teammates, and we need fans watching us. And we like to have our fans cheer us or boo us and let us know what they really think.
Can I be a beater?
I thought you were a keeper.
No one has thought that I am a keeper.
Are you lonely?
No, I have friends. I totally have friends.
I don't know. You hang around here a lot. So that being said, we want to hear more from you.
We do.
So we're on Facebook. You search for Alice in Muggleland. Alice has a Twitter, A in Muggleland. Let us know more about what you think.
And please review us on iTunes and Stitcher, wherever you're listening. We'd love to hear your feedback. And if you're enjoying the show, please tell your friends about us. Because, like us, I bet you totally have friends.
Because if Hermione can make friends, anyone can make friends.
Oh, I like that. I think I want that on a t-shirt.
Tune in next week, folks, as we dive more into Quidditch and the punk ways of Hermione Granger.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. Oh, okay. So, the dog's name is Fluffy? I don't think that was in the chapter. Did I say
the name? All right, I'm going to have to cut that out.
You said Fluffy. Haha. Spoiler alert, the dog's name is Fluffy.